Alright everyone, welcome back. It's shortly before 6 o'clock. Sakura asked us to let her make dinner to close out the day. She chased me and Tosaka out of the kitchen, so we've just been waiting around for her to finish making dinner. Another plate or bowl breaks. It's the sound of Sakura's failure that we've gotten used to hearing for the last half of the today. Let's rewind to noon. Sakura couldn't make stew after Ayla and I went out for groceries. She was waiting for us when we got home, but she clearly wasn't feeling well.
大丈夫です。確かに熱っぽいけど、お昼ご飯ぐらい作れます。
And it's true. She could have cooked us lunch. But we weren't gonna make her push herself when she was clearly suffering from a fever. By the time Tosaka and I convinced Sakura to take a nap, it was already past 2 in the afternoon. Before she did, she insisted.
じゃあ、熱が下がっていれば、お台所に立っていいんですよね。
And went off to bed. Then came evening. I'm not sure when my training ended, but when I finished and went back to the living room, Sakura was already starting to cook dinner.
お疲れ様です、先輩。待っててください。すぐお夕飯にしますから。
And then she cheerfully went back to her cooking. I could tell with a single glance that she was putting on a strong front. You're tired, so go rest. I said that Tosaka and I would make dinner, but Sakura refused to back down.
もう、先輩も姉さんも、あんまり過保護にしないでください。私だってマスターです。これぐらい、戦うことに比べたらなんてことないんだから。
She stubbornly refused to back down no matter what we said. On top of that, she refused to let us help, especially Tosaka. Tosaka reacted with more surprise than I expected.
だって、姉さんは先輩を鍛えてくれているでしょ。なら、私だって役立たずじゃいられません。私も姉さんみたいに何かの役に立ちたい。それに、これは私が今まで受け持ってきた役割だから、これだけはずっと私が受け持っていたいんです。
It sounds like this is something that Sakura just can't give up. I can only imagine how defeating it must feel to stop doing something she's done routinely every single day, no matter how hard it is to move her body. Fine, take care of dinner, Sakura. Tosaka got irritated and started to criticize me. But that only made Sakura say,
はい、頑張ります、先輩。
it was hard to be negative in front of that much enthusiasm.
はい、長らくお待たせしました。
Her bright voice reaches the dining table. Sakura confidently sets plate after plate on the table.
お、炊き込みご飯。手が込んでるな、さくら。
はい、先輩がいいアサリとエビを手に入れてきてくれたので、今夜は海鮮でまとめてみました。ご飯はアサリの炊き込み、エビは包み蒸しにして、イカはエスニック風に仕上げて、とどめにイリアちゃん対策でハンバーグまで完備したのです。
She puffs up her chest proudly. The dishes she's laid out on the table do show brilliance, unlike anything she's made so far. So she must have put her heart into making them. The secret ingredient is effort. We other three diners applaud the display.
一時はどうなるものかと思ったけど、我慢した分の見返りはありそうね。じゃあ、ありがたくいただきます。 私も遠慮なくいただくわ。シロ、そっちのフォークちょうだい。
はいよ。じゃあ、それじゃ、俺も失礼して、いただきます。
はい、おかわりありますから、いっぱい食べてくださいね。
I make a quiet bow and pick up the steamed dumpling with my chopsticks. At a glance, the round bite-sized dumplings resemble shomai. They're beautifully formed and accompanied by an exquisite balance of spring onions, ginger, and daikon sprouts. I It wasn't easy letting Sakura cook for 4 people, but I can't complain now that my chopsticks stopped moving. All 3 of our expressions must have frozen for an instant. We pretend not to notice and quietly keep eating. We have to keep eating. The colorful dishes taste inconsistent. They don't taste bad per se. They just each seem to lack a subtle flavor or taste off balance. And now she's losing her, what you call her feeling to cook. The silence is uncomfortable. We keep quietly eating, not quite looking at each other. Still, it's impossible to play it off. Sakura cooked this. She'll realize it tastes wrong as soon as she eats it. Our silence is just a prelude to that discovery. I look up at Sakura. She should have realized it by now. Yet she's sitting there in shock. And she hasn't taken a single bite. I try to watch her inconspicuously so that she doesn't notice. I wonder what's wrong. Sakura's looking down at her rice bowl and chopsticks with a troubled expression. She hesitates, then resolves herself to reach for her chopsticks. But then, she drops them with a clatter. She hastily picks them up again, and tries to gloss over it by picking up her rice bowl too. I can't directly watch her doing it. Oh man, she's struggling so much now. She's weakening. Sakura repeats the effort several times. She clumsily moves her fingers and warily picks up the food with her chopsticks, only to drop it each time and try again. It's more than just difficulty controlling her fingers. Her awkward movements look like that of someone who knew how to use chopsticks until a few seconds ago, but forgot once she picked them up. We're not looking. It's a slip-up that anyone would notice right away, but we don't see it. I tell myself it's just dinner as usual, even as she fails over and over. She awkwardly manipulates her chopsticks onto the food. Finally manages to eat one bite, forgets how to hold the chopsticks, and has to remember all over again. I can't bring myself to interrupt her desperation and ask her if she's alright. Tosaka hasn't noticed. She's pretending not to notice, and quietly eating her dinner. So am I. We all pretend not to notice anything wrong with Sakura and finish our meal in silence. I decided to clean up after dinner. Sakura tried to help, but I cruelly turned her away. It's obvious she can't help clean in her state. And I don't want Sakura to have to confront another routine that she can't do anymore, as she mentioned earlier.
いいから部屋に戻ってちゃんとあったかくして寝てろ。ほら、昼だってあんなに熱があったけど寝てたら引いたんだろ。なら今度だって。
I basically tell her that if she lies down and keeps her body from moving, she'll be able to move her fingers again. It doesn't make much sense even to me. Now she looks helpless too. That just sucks. Sakura bites her lip in anguish, looking away.
さくら、別にこれからずっとってわけじゃない。調子が悪い時に無理をしたら治るのが遅れるだけだ。さくらが悪いわけじゃないんだから、しばらくは甘えていていいんだぞ。
そんなことありません。私どこも悪くなんかないんです。熱だって下がってるし、ちゃんと昨日のことも覚えてるし、先輩の顔だってわかります。私は今まで通りで失敗されるようなことなんかないから、そんな風に心配されなくてもちゃんと。
心配されなくても大丈夫か？バカ言うな。さくらがそうやって無理をするなら俺もはっきり言うぞ。夕食の準備に2時間もかけた。不注意で7回も食器を落とした。おまけに味付けだって失敗してた。塩加減はまるっきりできてないわ。胡椒は効きすぎだわ。さくらの料理とは思えない。張り切るのはいいけど結果が出ないようじゃ逆効果だろう。分かったか？さくらは元気なつもりでも小さなところで熱が残ってるんだよ。そうでもなきゃさくらがあんな失敗するもんか。言っとくけど 俺は怒ってるからな。明日から厨房には立たせない。完全に治るまでは無理なんてさせないから、おとなしく眠ってろ。
I don't wait for her to answer and lead her by the hand to her bedroom. Her footsteps were heavy, but I ignored them and took her to her room. Tosaka's waiting at the door. It's now 10 p.m. Time to go out on night patrol, even if it might be a waste of time.
早かったわね。で、さくらは？
一応寝かしつけてきた。なんだかんだ言っても疲れてたんだろうな。ベッドに横になった途端、すぐ眠ってくれた。
そう。じゃあ後のことはイリアとライダーに任せましょう。姿は見えないけど、ライダーは屋敷のどこかでさくらを警護してるだろうし。
As Tosaka says, Ryder's constantly protecting Sakura. She probably hasn't taken material form to avoid burdening Sakura.
おそらくあと数日も持つまい。
I recall the priest's words. As long as the Holy Grail War continues, the crest worms inside Sakura will keep eating her magical energy. In her state, it's dangerous to materialize her servant. Even if she does, Ryder won't be able to fight. Ryder must be standing guard in spirit form with that in mind.
暗い顔ね。何か言いたいことでもあるの？
Something I want to say? That's a dumb question. Of course there
遠
is.
坂、今晩のうちに造剣を倒せないか。
We can't afford to drag this out much longer. Sakura grows weaker every day. If the priest is to be believed, she could die tomorrow.
無理よ。今の私たちじゃ相手にならない。焦るのもわかるけど、さくらを助けたいのなら今は我慢なさい。私たちが倒れたら、それこそさくらは助からないわ。
今はまだ戦わない。ああ、それはわかる。
巡回の意味がないって言いたいの？シロ、私たちは造剣さえ倒せればいいの？違うでしょ？聖杯戦争に巻き込まれて無関係な人間が死ぬことが許せないんじゃなかったの？
She's right. I know that. I do. There's a purpose to these patrols. We'll have to flee if we run into the enemy, but we have to do whatever we can to prevent more people from falling victim like they did last night. But what exactly did I swear to protect again?
シロ、ちょっと大丈夫？エミヤ君。
いや、少しめまいがしただけだ。それよりすまん遠坂、今のは考えなしだった。
いいわ、別に謝らなくても。さくらも危ないけど、あなただって疲れてるんだもの。本当はね、今日の投影は3日に分けて習得してもらうはずだったのよ。それを今日だけで成功させるぐらい頑張ったんだから、今すぐ戦いたいって気持ちはわかるし。
I learned how to use projection today?
どうしたの？何かおかしなこと言った？私。
いや、今日の鍛錬はきつくて、耐えるのに精一杯だったから、時間が湧かないみたいだ。
そうね。無我夢中って感じだったもの。けどその甲斐あって、最後には1回だけ探検を投影できたじゃない。まあ、今のところ成功率は1割以下だから、これから要修行ってことだけど。
Well, that makes sense if it happened while I was in a trance. My sense of time must have gone numb from concentrating so hard. Felt like evening came before I even knew it. By the time I noticed that something's wrong, we've already gone to town. Tosaka must have noticed it too because she's quietly trying to sense something. The view is familiar. The town is dark and quiet after 10 p.m. There's nobody on the streets and no sound at all. It's a silent night that I've grown used to seeing since the Holy Grail War started. But it's...
静かね。
Tosaka whispers next to me. Yes. It's quiet here. For the last few days, the town has become as quiet as ruins, sinking into a still slumber once night falls. And yet, the silence tonight is beyond anything I've experienced so far.
ねえ、あっち側って昨日もああだっけ。家の明かりはおろか、街灯まで真っ暗だけど。
Tosaka is squinting in the direction of Ryuda Temple. It's a part of town on the opposite side of Shinto, just short of the edge of the city. The streets there are completely dark. From here, it's like staring into a black wall.
行こ
That's all I say as I began walking toward the darkened streets. Tosaka remains silent. It's probably the obvious choice for her too. We both know what's happening there. It's a contradiction. We know exactly what we'll find if we go there, and yet we go anyway, hoping we're completely wrong. What exactly did I feel when I laid eyes on it? This dark wall with nothing beyond it. The instant I step through it and see the town I know, I understand what's occurred. The town is too quiet. Sleeping isn't enough to describe it. This a complete void without any sign of human life. It's the utter stillness of death, not slumber, when nothing is living anymore. I feel dizzy. The town hasn't changed. Around us, 50 or so houses are as black as night, looking exactly the same. There's no signs of their doors being forced. Nothing broke any windows to get in. Of course, no crane peeled off the walls and roofs to get at what's inside. In the same way, the presence of over 100 residents is simply absent.
エミヤ君、そこの家入ってみましょう。
Ooh, that was interesting. A brief glimpse of Sakura at the last minute. Tosaka puts on some gloves and breaks into a nearby house. We pass by the nameplate. We open the front door. We walk down the hall. We explore the first floor, check the second floor, find absolutely nothing, and leave.
停電している家にいた人は
What about the people in the blacked out houses? Tosaka tells me that they're gone. The town looks as if it always does at night. The buildings are completely intact and there aren't any dead bodies. It's perfectly clean and nobody will notice anything off once dawn breaks, and yet it looked even more barren than back then. We checked a few more houses, but our findings were exactly the same. There were no damage to any of the buildings and no people inside. All they left behind were some traces of magical energy that made my chest ache. On every single building, road, and patch of ground, we found dark traces of something that stuck to them, that keeps its shape and color even now. We even knew without saying anything that it was the cause of this pristine tragedy. I feel dizzy. I'm irritatingly nauseous. Corpses without bodies, bleeding without blood. An uninhabited neighborhood devoured by shadow. While I walk through it all on edge, a completely unrelated image comes to mind for some reason. But it isn't unrelated. It can't be if I'm thinking of it here. Stop. Remember. Remember. You know this presence, this scent. You did before too. What did you imagine the first time you laid eyes on that abomination? Don't notice it. It's the same. No, something even heavier attacked everyone here. It's not true. It was the same. Why did you imagine what you saw? Back then. Because I have no proof. I have no reason. I have no motive. I have no evidence. It doesn't look like anyone. It shouldn't be true. It can't be true. I must not acknowledge it. But the more I think,
もし私が悪い人になったら
I don't have any proof at all, but my mind tells me this hunch is true. I know it is because that sensation was.
やめろバカなことは考えるな
Too similar to my nightmares of.
シロどうしたの急に立ち止まってまだ他に気になることでも
I shake my head and get rid of the dizziness. I must have gotten a whiff of the scent in the shadow left behind.
いや吐き気がするだけだ俺のことはいいから話を続けてくれ父さんが
本当 参ったわね。向上した四郎の大魔力でもあいつの残滓に当てられちゃうんだ。まああれだけの魔力の塊なんだから当然といえば当然か。そうでもなければ町を食うなんてできないものね。
いや、体力がなくなったとかそういうんじゃない。単に気持ちが悪くなっただけで奪われたものはないと思う。
Tosaka seems to accept that. More importantly, we need to confirm what happened here.
で、一体何が起きたんだ、あそこで。
まあ今までと同じ食事でしょうね。ただ規模が段違いになっただけ。町中に残った後からして一軒一軒訪ねていったなんてことじゃなかったはずよ。あれは津波みたいにあの一帯に覆いかぶさってそのまま地面に溶けていった。よっぽど空腹だったのか一口で食事を済ませたかったんでしょう。けど無機物はお口に合わないみたいね。生きていないものは通り抜けて有機物だけを残らず消化していった。救いがあるとしたら一瞬で消えたことか。痛みも恐怖も感じる時間なんてなかったでしょう。
A bounded field of dissolution. Tosaka explains that the bounded field Ryder deployed at the school was like magecraft with an instantaneous and powerful effect.
問題はそれだけの魔術の発動にもかかわらず魔力を感知できなかったってことよ。あれがあの影の仕業だって言うんならあいつにとってあれは魔術じゃなくただの挙動に過ぎないことになる。要するにあれだけ広範囲の妖怪も黒い影にとっては寝返りみたいなものだってこと。
I see. But it's over now. The shadow disappeared somewhere once it satisfied its hunger, and we have no reason to pursue it now. Our patrols have lost their purpose. There were new victims despite our efforts, and we can't even detect the shadow who's the key culprit. Whether it was the shadow or Zokin, I thought we might be able to get a read on their movements or run to the scene to intervene. But that lost its meaning now. We don't have any way to track the shadow, and more than that,
分かってはいたことだけどあいつ日に日に成長してるわ。このペースでいけば次に出た時は手をつけられない怪物になっているでしょうね。
right now we don't have any chance of winning. Complete silence. They're not the only ones here to appreciate the loss of life and ruin of prosperity. No, that expression was not quite accurate. The boy and girl still showed an admirable will to fight, and they clearly did not appreciate what they found. Only one who was no longer human would delight in this tragedy.
いやいや、加減を知らんのも困りものだ。よかれと思い放任してきたが、これはそろそろ刈り取らねばならんかの。
The old man cackles. He blends into the shadows as he roams the uninhabited town, White Skull in tow. He is looking at the boy and girl. The old man pleasantly watches his enemies. He has no hostile intent. How could he hate something that is hardly even a foe to him anymore? To the old man, they are no different from pebbles by the wayside. But the White Skull thinks differently. To him, a threat is a threat no matter how small. Any obstacle should be removed on the spot, even if they are beyond his own powers to defeat. The man who was summoned as assassin acts strictly according to what unwritten law.
この場で殺しても良いのでは?
He inquires of his lord. The boy and girl are highly vulnerable as they walk through the ghost town. How can they be so defenseless in this land of death? The skull can only see them as sick individuals with a wish for death. Thus, one might even consider it a mercy to end them here. And yet,
いや、それはいささかもったいない。ここまで生かしておいたのだ。ここで終わらせては芸がなかろう。
the old man has no mercy. He is rotten to the core, having lived over 500 years and lost his humanity in all but shape.
例えばこういう筋書きはどうかな、アサシ。ここに生贄がおる。 人の世に疎まれ憎まれ呪われ続けた哀れな肉だ。この肉はな、けなげにも世界を嫌おうとせん。ただ一人でも自分の味方をする者がいる限り、その味方が住む世界を嫌わぬよう努めておる。いやはや愛欲とはかくも尊く強力なものらしい。肉は何をされようと人の世を憎みきれん。憎めばその味方を否定することになると懸命に自らの泥を抑え込んでおる。故に肉には何をしても効果はないのだ。だがその唯一の味方に否定されたとしたらどうなるのか。もとより世の全てに否定されたものだ。唯一信じた希望に裏切られたとあれば、もはや歯止めとなる道徳など存在しまい。
では魔術師殿はあの少年に最後の一押しをさせたいと。
さよう、幕引きはあやつにこそふさわしかろう。予想外の成長ではあったが、あそこまで持たせてくれたのだ。ならば息の根を止める喜びは譲ってやらねばなるまいて。
He chuckles in delight. Sadism and satisfaction color his mirth. Enamored with his own ingenious suggestion, his chattering laugh makes him seem like a skull bobbing in the wind. In the end, we got home before midnight. We decided there wasn't any point in wasting our stamina when there was nothing else to do. My feet feel heavy. The physical stress of training all day must be catching up with me. My body feels like lead, and my eyelids might droop closed at any moment. I'm sleepy. Maybe my mind's worse off than my body. I want to sleep so badly I might just curl up on the floor in this hallway.
おかえりなさい。街の様子はどうだった？リン。
Ilya was waiting for us in the living room. Sakura isn't here. Of course not. Sakura's... No. Sakura should be sleeping in her room right now.
やられた後だった。それよりさくらは？何もなかったわ。ちゃんとベッドで眠ってるし、起きた様子もないみたいね。ライダーを刺激してない分、魔力に余裕があるから調子いいんだと思うわ。そう。まあそれでも一応警戒して。あの子次に暴走したら後がないから。
It doesn't seem like Tosaka's any worse off after seeing that ghost town.
私は疲れたから寝るけど、イリアはどうする？私も休むわ。明日は製鉄でしょ。よく睡眠をとっておかないと失敗しかねないから。
Ilya bids us good night and goes off to the tatami room.
じゃあ今日はこれでお開きね。シロも休みなさい。気づいてないようだけど顔真っ青よ。
My body feels heavy. I do manage to roll out my futon even though my brain fog, thanks to daily muscle memory. I collapse into bed. When I roll onto my back and look up at the ceiling, I make a little time to think. I try to think with my exhausted brain. I think about my left arm, about losing the shroud today. After experiencing unbearable agony and terror last night, I easily overcome it in a day. It ended so easily. The pain and fear might well have never existed. If I think seriously about what that means, I know the answer. I think about Ilya. She told me that she couldn't live with me. She said it would be nice, but that it couldn't happen, because she doesn't have long to live. She told me something that anyone would know. I think about Sakura. Her life is becoming more confined with each passing day, because the curse worms are feeding on her body and she doesn't have enough magical energy. It isn't her fault. It isn't Sakura's fault that her body's this way. All I can do for her is share my magical energy. If I give her some blood and supply with enough power, she should hold together.